Hello friends and my dear students. Today we will talk about MySQL. MySQL is a database. अब database के लिए अगर हम MySQL की बात कर रहे हैं तो इसके फीचर्स, डेटाबेस के फीचर्स और डेटाबेस के एडवांटेजेस और बेसिक्स ऑफ डेटाबेस के लिए आप मेरे वीडियोस व्यू कर सकते हैं, राइट। आई बटन में आपको उनका लिंक मिल जाएगा या डिस्क्रिप्शन में मैं उनका लिंक दे दूंगा, तो आप वहां जाके उन वीडियोस को व्यू कर सकते हैं। Now, but today we will talk about SQL. What is SQL? Now, can anyone tell me what is SQL? Can you tell me what is SQL? Okay. इसको लेके SQL को लेके बहुत ज़्यादा हमारे माइंड में कई बार कंफ्यूजन रहती है कि SQL है क्या चीज़। तो SQL और MySQL हम दोनों को यही कंसिडर करते हैं, कई बार स्टूडेंट्स के माइंड में यही होता है कि ये दोनों सिमिलर सी चीज़ें हैं, दोनों सेम ही तो हैं। MySQL और SQL दोनों में डिफरेंस क्या है? लेकिन देयर इज अ वेरी बिग डिफरेंस बिटवीन SQL एंड MySQL. MySQL is a database. And what is database? Database is a organized collection of data, right? Database is a organized collection of data. But MySQL में जब भी हम डेटा पे वर्कआउट करते हैं तो हम टेबल्स बना के और उन पे वर्कआउट करते हैं। जहां हमारा डेटा स्टोर होता है हम उसको मॉडिफाई कर सकते हैं, रिमूव कर सकते हैं, मैनेज कर सकते हैं। वी कैन सिंपली सेड कि वी कैन मैनेज द डेटा इन अ डेटाबेस। बट हाउ टू इंटरैक्ट विद द डेटाबेस? यस, यू आर राइट। SQL, the structured query language. This language is used to interact with the databases, right? So SQL is the only language which is used to interact with the databases, right? Any kind of a database, whether it's a base database, LibreOffice base, OpenOffice base, MS Access, MySQL, Oracle, Sybase, SQL Server and all. कोई भी डेटाबेस हो बेटा, हर डेटाबेस से इंटरैक्शन करने के लिए, to interact with the database we need SQL. Now SQL, the structured query language. SQL is the language which is used to interact with the databases. हाँ, ये जरूर है बेटा कि कई बार ऐसा होता है कि SQL अलग अलग डेटाबेसेस में कुछ एक कमांड्स थोड़ी सी डिफर करती हैं, लेकिन जो मेन बेसिक कमांड्स हैं those are similar in all the databases. The SQL commands are similar in all the databases. There is no changes. हाँ, कुछ एक्स्ट्रा कमांड्स हो सकती हैं, जैसे हम MySQL की बात कर रहे हैं तो कुछ कमांड्स हैं MySQL में जो एडिशनल हैं, जो कमांड्स हमें Oracle में नहीं मिलेंगी, वो कमांड्स हम किसी और डेटाबेस में यूज नहीं कर पाएंगे, वो MySQL में यूज कर पाएंगे। हम उनके बारे में भी डिस्कस करते हैं। नाउ तो स्टार्ट विद द SQL इन MySQL, राइट। नाउ तो इन SQL, राइट, there are three categories of commands. In SQL there are three categories of commands. What are those three categories? What are those three categories? The very first category of commands is Ddl commands. First category is Ddl commands. Now what is the meaning of Ddl? Ddl are data definition language commands. These commands are used to manipulate database objects within a database. Ddl commands are used to manipulate database objects within a database. Now what are database objects? So all those tables, databases, right, which we create within a MySQL database are called objects. Now to create a database objects within a database, so these Ddl commands are used to manipulate the creation, updation and modification of the database objects. तो इसमें तीन कमांड्स हमारी यूज होती हैं मेनली. There are three Ddl commands: create to create the database objects, alter to modify the structure of the database object, and third, drop to remove the database object from the database, right? Now second type of commands, second category of commands are DML commands. That means data manipulation language commands. Data manipulation language commands. Now these commands are used to manipulate data stored within a database objects. These commands are used to manipulate database objects stored within a database objects, right? Now, third type of commands. The third type of commands are Dcl commands, either a Dcl or Tcl, either a Dcl commands or Tcl commands, right? Some book says ki Dcl command, some book says Tcl commands, right? So Dcl or Tcl, the data control language or transaction control language. These commands are used to store or cancel the workout, right? To save the workout or to cancel the workout, right? So in case of TCL, the transaction control language, to save the transaction or to cancel the transaction, we use TCL commands. So in TCL we have two commands, commit and rollback, right? Now in DML, back to the DML, in DML we have three commands: insert, update and delete. Insert, update and delete. These three commands are used in DML. Now, insert means to store the data in a table, update means to modify the data stored within a table, and delete is used to remove the tuples. Delete is used to remove the tuples from the table, right? We cannot remove attribute from the delete command. We can remove only tuples, right? Now, so let's start with the Ddl commands first. So I will explain the working of the Ddl commands and then we go to the computer system, right, to test all these commands practically. Now, Ddl commands. Create command is used to create a database object, right? So in Ddl commands, when we use, whether I am using create, alter or drop command, so we have to mention the type of object with the commands, right? Now for example, if I am creating a table, so I have to use create table. If I want to create a database, then I have to use a create database, right? Practically I will explain all these commands. Similarly in alter, if I want to modify a table structure, then I have to use a alter table and then the table name. Similarly, if I want to drop any table, I want to remove the table from the database, right? Then I have to use drop table and then the table name, right? In DML commands, when we use DML commands, तो इन DML commands बेटा हमें टाइप ऑफ ऑब्जेक्ट मेंशन करने की रिक्वायरमेंट नहीं होती, ओनली नेम ऑफ द ऑब्जेक्ट. रीजन कि DML commands will work only with the table. DML commands only work with the table and these commands are responsible to manage the data only which is stored in a table, right? So insert, update and delete, right? So these are some main commands. Now the other command, that is the main command in any database or in SQL we can say, that is select statement. That is select statement, right? Now generally select statement includes in a DML commands as a DML command ki select is a DML command, but actually select is a query statement. Select is a query statement. Select is the only statement. Select is the only statement which is used to retrieve the data from the database and display on the screen. It is the only command in SQL which perform this task. So select statement is used to retrieve the data from the database and display on the screen, right? Now, so select statement is a query statement actually, but sometimes we said ki select is a DML statement. Actually as I told you, कि DML statements are used to manipulate data in a database objects, right? But select statement never manipulate the data in a table, in a database table. Select statement manipulates the data after retrieving the data from the table. After retrieving the data from the table, right? So it retrieves the data according to the condition, right? It retrieves the data according to the condition, and then it manipulates and displays that data on screen, right? Now in MySQL, some extra commands are there, right? Sometimes we include those commands in DDL, right? But those extra commands are when we open MySQL, right? And I want to display the list of databases, available databases in a database. I want to display the list of available databases in a database, MySQL database. Then I have to use the command show databases. Show databases. This command is used to display the list of available databases in a MySQL database, right? And now, without opening a particular database, we cannot work in MySQL. So first we have to open the database. So how to open the database in MySQL? The use command. Use command is used to open a existing database, right? Use command is used to open an existing database. And now after opening the database, if my requirement is to show list of tables created in a particular database, open the database, then what we need to do? We have to use the command show tables. Show tables. And please remember one thing, all the commands in MySQL or SQL, simply SQL, right? All the commands in SQL are terminated by a semicolon. All the commands are terminated by semicolon, right? Now, it's all for today. Hope you understand the types of SQL commands, the meanings of SQL commands, right? And what is the difference between databases and SQL. So please, if you like my video, then please like my video, share my video and subscribe my channel, right? Now, so stay healthy, stay safe, stay at home, and please get vaccinated if you are not. And I am Nitin Mathur, signing off, your teacher. Goodbye.